why are we playing with snakes? What's the point? I just decided a long time ago, I'm not going to play with snakes because they bite. And so you're playing around with a bunch of snakes. You're just playing with snakes because they are snakes. Why handle snakes? Why, rattlesnakes don't always kill you when you pick them up, but there's no upside. So why screw with the snakes? They're cute. You want to pet them? I mean, why screw with the snakes? There's only one possibility screwing around with rattlesnakes. Get bit or not get bit. I guess there's two possibilities.
What's up guys, Jake here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about the man, my mentor, Dave Ramsey. I feel like Dave Ramsey is one of those individuals who doesn't need an introduction, but in the event you don't know who he is a financial guru and personal advisor. He has a syndicated radio show and has written numerous best-selling books. On his website, you can sign up for his course, Financial Peace University. I think something like 5 million families have gone through it the last 30 years, and he probably, to his credit, has created tens of thousands of millionaires over his lifetime. His accomplishments and his accolades are well-deserved. However, there are a few things that I personally disagree with when it comes to Dave Ramsey. One of the most common ones that people have is credit cards. Dave personally opposes all forms of credit and debt. He says, don't have a credit score, ignore your credit score. If you have credit cards, cut them up, don't use them. When it comes to personal debt, Dave Ramsey treats all forms of debt like alcoholism. Basically, if you come to Dave Ramsey admitting you have a problem with debt, that is the same as saying, I have an alcohol problem and I need help. So the first step is to swear off the problem. So he has a zero tolerance policy for personal debt. This is what he teaches. It works for his followers. But in this video, we're going to explore how does Dave Ramsey actually convince people to cut up their credit cards? He's going to make the rational argument. He's going to hit you with the statistics and the numbers of why the odds are probably against you using credit cards, but he knows that people are not rational. He knows that that alone is not going to convince people. So Dave Ramsey actually employs a series of emotional arguments as well. So in today's video, we're going to cover that, and we're going to go through the 10 ways that Dave Ramsey convinces you to cut up your credit cards. The first one is a rational argument that most Americans carry over a credit card balance.
78% of you that use credit cards do not pay it off every month.
78% of Americans carry over a balance month to month. Now, I actually don't know where Dave Ramsey got that statistic. For all of his statistics that he gives, I'm not doubting that they're not real or he doesn't have a survey that says that. However, in his YouTube videos, he does not link his references. I did, however, find a study saying 78% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. Not quite the same thing as carrying over credit card debt. And then I found a CNBC article saying that 55% of Americans with credit cards have debt carry over balances month to month. If this is you, if you're one of the majority of Americans carrying over a credit card balance month to month, then you need to listen to Dave Ramsey. You need to cut up your credit cards right now and swear off all debt. Any benefit that you would gain from using a credit card month to month is completely wiped out if you carry over a balance. With that said, there is a problem when citing statistics, when citing averages. By Dave's own admission of 78%, that means 22% of Americans aren't carrying over a balance. They do responsibly pay off their credit card in full every month, and they're not paying any interest or fines to the bank. What about those people? So Dave's second argument is that you overspend when using credit cards.
And yet you tell me you're going to beat the credit card company. You spend 12 to 18% more on average when you use plastic than when you use cash. That's what all the studies show us because you don't feel the pain. And the world's worst place is the grocery store. They are the best marketers on the planet. When you use a credit card to purchase something, on average, studies have shown, several pieces of research, that you spend more money. The average is 12 to 20% more.
Dave sometimes cites 12 to 18% or 12 to 20%. I found articles showing that when you do pay with plastic, you do overspend. However, once again, this is a statistic. This is an average, meaning that some people don't overspend when using a credit card and some people overspend by like 40%. So this is a personal choice, personal responsibility issue. Everyone should become aware of how do they overspend when using plastic versus when using cash. But once again, if you know this is you, if you know that on a cash-only budget you will spend less money, and that is your focus right now, then you should cut up your credit cards. However, if you feel like you are using your credit cards responsibly, you have a budget, you don't overspend, then you should definitely keep your credit cards for the rewards.
Consumer Reports says 78% of airline miles are never redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're never redeemed, you know what they're worth? Zero. And so your rationalization 78% of the time is stupid. 90% of airline miles are never redeemed.
Dave's third rational argument is that 78% of airlines are never redeemed, or 90% of airlines are never redeemed. I don't know where he got this number, but I do believe it. There is a high number of individuals who earn rewards, cashback, points, miles, whatever, with their credit card, and for whatever reason, they never redeem it. Now, there is two categories here. There are miles and points and cashback that never expires, meaning it's just slowly building up until you choose at one point in the future to redeem them. And then there are programs where your points, miles, cashback does expire. And if that's your scenario, that's on you. That is an individual choice. If dumb people do not take advantage of their points, miles, or cash back, that shouldn't influence me if I am being responsible. Additionally, when it comes to frequent flyer programs and frequent flyer miles, that includes all customers paying with debit cards or cash checks or whatever. So when consumers don't understand how a program works, i.e. a frequent flyer program, they just ignore it. The problem with making rational arguments using statistics is, for example, you got a group of random people into a room, and you said, show of hands, everyone raise your hand if you think you're an above average driver. On average, about 80% of people will raise their hand saying they are an above average driver. What this means is that a large percentage of people think they are an exception to the rule. They raise their hand saying, well, of course I'm an above average driver, but 30% of the people who rose their hand have to be wrong. Additionally, there might be people in that 20% who are in the top 50 and didn't raise their hand because they don't have confidence in themselves. For that reason, Dave will offer the rational arguments, but he knows that it's not going to win over a majority of people, which is why he then moves on to several emotional arguments. People are much more likely to change their behavior in the long run if you can reach them emotionally. So the first emotional argument that Dave Ramsey makes is that you are not in control of your spending. You have lost control of how you are living your life.
Here's the spectrum of feeling pain. It's called friction in the marketing world. The harder it is, the more steps you have to go through to buy something on the website, that's called friction. The greater the friction, the less chance you're going to stay in their store and close the transaction and buy the item on a website. You know what I'm saying? When you pay with plastic and I interview you, 24 hours later, you don't know what the total was on the bill. You can't tell me what you spent. You don't know what you spent at the gas pump because you stuck a card in it, you pumped the gas, and you walked away.
I do think that people have an aha moment when Dave makes this emotional argument, that people are clueless to how much they are spending. When you use a debit card or a credit card to purchase something, you hand them the card and then they hand you your coffee or your cheeseburger plus your card back. You didn't net lose anything. It's completely different when you take out cash from an ATM and you're living on a limited supply of cash. Eventually that cash runs out and you got to go back to the ATM. However, this is something that people have to be conscious of. They have to realize when using plastic, a credit card or a debit card, you should be maintaining a budget, tracking your spending, and being careful not to overspend. Online retailers are the worst offenders of this. They want your credit card or debit card information stored, so it's just one-click purchasing. If this is you, if you know that you are prone to this or susceptible to this, then do not store your card information on this website. Or don't use this website if you think that you are prone to overspending because of this. But this is a problem with all plastic, debit cards and credit cards. You're never going to be able to go through life without at least having a debit card and then finding some way to control your spending. Dave's fifth emotional argument is that you're wasting your time. There are better ways to be spending your time to earn money.
You spend $100,000 on a credit card to get $1,000 worth of points. All that effort, all that crap, just to get $1,000. You could have made $1,000 in your sleep, man.
Dave likes to make the argument that you are wasting your time when you chase credit card reward programs. However, I just don't buy it. When he negates $1,000 in savings or $400 in savings, I do believe that every dollar matters. This is the guy that operates the app. Every dollar counts. So I'm not going to discount any savings that you get. Now, he always loves to give the number $100,000 in spend for $1,000 cash back. If you're only getting 1% cash back on your credit card, then you're doing it wrong. 1% is a terrible cash back rate. The minimum you should be getting is 2%, and ideally you should be getting 5% cash back from a no annual fee credit card. As an example, if you were to get the Dux Unlimited card or the USA Cashback Rewards Plus American Express, these are no annual fee cards that earn you 5% cash back on gas purchases. By not using a no annual fee card to get 5% cash back on gas, that is the equivalent of every time you go to fill up your tank, you see two gas stations across the street from each other. One is charging $2 a gallon, and the other is charging $2.10 a gallon. By not taking that 5% cash back, you're agreeing to pay 5% more on all purchases. I don't drive around unnecessarily to burn gas because I get this joy from earning cash back for my gas purchases. Having a credit card in this scenario does not change my behavior in any way. Dave's sixth argument is that your free trip will not be a good experience.
You spend more when you get airline miles because you're so freaking excited about your free trip to Europe that's not free. Because you're so stupid, you believe all that stuff. And of those that are redeemed, you have a substandard experience with the airline, which having a substandard experience with a substandard industry pretty much means it sucks. I mean, Delta is Greek for we're not really taking you there. We just said we were. And then you get the opportunity to fly through 3 extra connections to use your free miles that was brought to you by overspending on your credit card.
I actually do agree with Dave a little bit here and think that your free trip is not actually free. There is an opportunity cost. If you use miles to take a trip that you would not have paid for otherwise, yes, you're getting a free experience, you're getting something of value, but you're not actually saving money. It's only when you redeem points and miles for something you would have paid cash for anyways that you're actually saving through using a credit card. As for whatever experience you get from the airlines, that's on you. How you use your points and miles can vary greatly from airline to airline, but if you're having a substandard experience with an American airline, that's true if you pay cash for it or not. All American airlines are not that great. But there are great transfer partners through American Express and Chase. If you want to fly Korean Air or Thai Air or Asiana Air or Turkish Air, there are lots of great international carriers that will give you a good experience when you're flying to your destination of choice. Argument 7 is if you want to be a millionaire, do what millionaires do.
And so, so when I'm on there, I do shop around like you're talking about, and I'm a fairly responsible guy with money. I'm a multimillionaire. The stuff I teach has worked for me. If you want to be a millionaire, you should ask millionaires what they do with money, not broke people. And millionaires, I've met with tens of thousands of them in 30 years. I have never met a millionaire that said, Dave, you know, my financial breakthrough was those airline miles. They never say that. As a matter of fact, they never use credit cards. A few of them have credit cards. The vast majority don't. That's what our study shows.
The argument that Dave Ramsey employs that millionaires he knows do not use credit cards is kind of strange because his whole business model is making millionaires out of people by not using credit cards. Definitely you can become a millionaire by following Dave Ramsey's model, but this is a very anecdotal argument because there are lots of millionaires who use credit cards. My friend Dave Hansen loves his no annual fee cashback cards. Graham Stephan, once again, loves high annual fee credit cards. And everyone who has the Amex Black Card has to be a millionaire to qualify for this card. I love this story of this Chinese billionaire who used an American Express card to buy a $170 million painting. Now, I'm guessing this was a $170 million painting he was going to buy anyways, but by putting it on a credit card, he earned $1.7 million in Amex points. It might be true that the vast majority of wealthy people do not use credit cards, but that's because the money doesn't matter to them. By saving 2 to 5% cash back by putting your spend on a credit card, to these people that's chump change, it's pennies. Is it a life-changing amount of money? No. Can you become a millionaire by not taking advantage of credit cards' cashback rewards? Yes, but I'm still going to do it.
The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. There's no upside to using it, only downsides. Is it going to kill everyone? No. But it kills a bunch of people, financially speaking. Your logic flow is not, what you're saying is illogical. It's like saying drunk drivers don't always kill someone, so it's okay to drive drunk.
Dave's next emotional argument is negative association. He wants to associate credit card use with cigarettes or drunk driving. I categorically reject this argument. You know, drunk drivers don't always kill people, so you shouldn't drive drunk. Well, swimming pools don't always kill people, so you shouldn't swim in pools, or ladders don't always kill people, so you shouldn't use ladders. There are people that can use swimming pools, cars, or ladders responsibly, same with credit cards. Comparing it to drunk driving is not appropriate. The next negative association that he makes really does emotionally hit me hard inside because I do not like smoking. However, this is a false equivalency. There's no connection.
It's stupid on parade. Buying crap you can't afford with money you don't have to impress people you don't even really like. You wander through Target, you wander through Costco, you wander into restaurants buying stuff and buying stuff and buying stuff. You spend like you're in freaking Congress.
Argument 9, once again a negative association with Congress that I find funny, but he will just openly scold people, and there are people that do need to hear this. However, we do have to think about our consumeristic lifestyle in our modern capitalist economy. He does channel Tyler Durden for a little bit, scolding us about our consumeristic habits. However, you know, it's up to you. What do you need to spend money on in order to get yourself through the day? If you have a hard day and then you go get a cup of coffee or you buy some ice cream and you put it on a credit card, is that the end of the world? No. Should you be spending money you don't have? Once again, no. It's up to you how you spend with your personal habits. And if you cannot spend responsibly, and if cutting up your credit cards prevents you from going on a Costco or a Target binge, then you should listen to Dave Ramsey. But you should not be made to feel guilty about your spending habits if you do them to manage the stress in your life and you have budgeted for them. You have the money to get that ice cream or buy that cup of coffee. The final argument that Dave Ramsey makes is probably the best television, and this is condescension and hostility towards the holdouts. There are people who will call into Dave Ramsey's show about credit cards and just mix it up with him. As soon as he knows that you are not a caller acting in good faith by asking him a genuine question, he will go on the offensive with you.
How much cash back have you earned?
Usually average about $400 a year.
Wow. Changing your life, isn't it? I'm 37 years old. I make $90,000 a year. I'm on baby step 6, and my credit score is 815. I have 4 credit cards, 4 of which I use regularly, based on which one gives me the best rewards at particular places. I pay the bill in full at least monthly or every card. Why shouldn't responsible individuals such as myself use credit cards? Because you're not. You're delusional.
When Dave Ramsey is confronted by someone who cannot be won over by either rational arguments or emotional arguments, he knows he's not going to reach this person, then he will go on the offensive. He will get hostile with the person, and he's doing this to show his conviction. Because his supporters are looking for someone to follow. They're looking for help. They're looking for answers. Dave Ramsey has to be 100% sure of his convictions. There can be no exceptions. There can be no possibilities that what he is teaching is not the best path for everyone. By getting tough, by getting in your face, by getting emotional on air, he is showing his conviction to his followers, and he is reassuring them that his advice is the best advice for them. And there you have it, guys. Those are the 10 arguments that Dave Ramsey will make to get you to cut up your credit cards. Now, I will say for his followers, for his supporters, if you are someone who carries over consumer debt and pays interest to a bank, or if you overspend when using credit cards, then Dave Ramsey's method works for you. And to the people who don't carry over a balance month to month and do pay off their bill in full every month, then cutting up your credit cards isn't really a big deal. You're only losing that between 2 and 5% in savings on cash back. And if you follow Dave Ramsey's plan, you're still going to build wealth, save money, invest, and potentially one day be rich. However, there is a third path of people, statistically a small number, who don't overspend, who do pay off their bill every month, who do take advantage of the 2 to 5% savings that you can get from a credit card. Once again, statistically, this number might be small, but these people do have to exist. I personally think that I'm one of them. Perhaps I'm delusional. Perhaps if you're watching this, you're delusional as well. Dave Ramsey would argue everyone is delusional. Okay guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up so the algorithm knows it's good. In addition, consider subscribing to my channel. I post about finance and investing topics. And if you have any questions or comments, leave me one down below. I love hearing from you guys. And until the next video, take care.